Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we proudly present our spectacular show of podcast magic and imagination full of Disney wonder, news, and pop culture. It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast with Jenn Dave and David Dollar.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Dave.
It's the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Yay, with Jen and myself and, of course, Kyla. We always keep bringing her back as our kind of our third revolving co-host now. Really, it's just a matter of when she's free because she's super busy with family and life and business and such. She's like, yeah, I can podcast today. That's fine. I'm here.
I am here and I am
But
ready.
this was her idea. This one was her
This was
idea.
David's idea. I just reminded him.
Oh, is that what it was? David's idea?
Actually, I don't remember. I thought it was your idea, Kyla. I would have gone with that. I would totally would have led to that.
I thought it was
Okay,
too.
Whatever.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
Anyway,
fine.
so yeah. So welcome to the Main Street Electrical Podcast, and we're here to talk Disney and all kinds of fun stuff. But first, Jen, how did you Disney this week?
I actually have been Disneying all weekend because Brady and I went up to our storage unit because yes, we saw the storage unit. Long story. Anyway, we started going through our treasures and our things that we had just not found a home for yet in our new house. And we are finally decorating, kind of the last spaces. We got a beautiful bookshelf that I built a couple weeks ago, and now we are putting our Disney treasures on. I found all of our theme park attraction vehicles, which I started grabbing in the early 2000s. I want to say 2005 maybe was the first one I grabbed, or 2006. I don't know. It was early. So it's Rock and Roller Coaster, it's Big Thunder Mountain, it's the characters riding some of the attractions. So I found that. And then we also found this mug, which I'm fairly certain was from when we cleaned out his parents' house. It's a really heavy Pinocchio
That's
mug.
awesome.
Pinocchio.
It's really
Pinocchio.
awesome.
Is
So
it
I
got
was
the
like,
gold
oh.
plating around the rim?
No, it's just it's yellow,
Okay.
just normal yellow. It's not gold plated, but
Right.
there was also a beautiful Magic Kingdom cup with the castle that it had glitter, pixie dust.
Right.
So that one's just displayed because that's not going to be dishwasher safe. We're
Right.
not.
Well, some of those, if you want real fireworks, put those in the microwave with the gold plating around the rim and watch it spark. And it's it's got a castle on it. There are fireworks going. Yeah, don't do that. Kids out there, don't do that. Don't do that
Don't
ever.
do that. David, don't do
love
that.
that.
No, I have not done that, but I know what happens when you put metal in the microwave. It's not good. So don't do that.
Right. Yeah, don't do that.
So,
No.
Kyla, how did you Disney this week?
So Alexa and I are going for a weekend in October.
I've heard.
Uh-huh. And we're going for the Halloween party. So I thought it would be a good idea to decorate our room. So I was running over to Michael's to pick up, because apparently this year someone decided that pink is the color of Halloween. Have you noticed that?
I have not seen that.
are pink. Okay, go to Michael's.
Odd. Okay.
Yes, the entire aisle is pink and orange and black. So I picked up a bunch of
Interesting.
pink and orange ghosts, ghost garlands and little things to hang around our room for our October weekend.
Oh.
Because you have to decorate when you're there and just get more in the Disney holiday spirit,
Yeah, we're a decorating bunch. I've noticed this with you guys.
We
at
are.
Christmas time, there's trees and stuff. And
Yeah.
when we went, I guess last 2 years ago, when Cliffy and I were sharing a room, I really wanted to get a small, like a 1 foot tree and put it in their room. I just never got around to it. But yeah, they're
That
total
would've been
trees in your
awesome.
room, and there's decorations all over, and for a week long stay, which is it's pretty funny. So
Oh
very
yeah, we did it
fun.
for our July 4th stay over the
Mhm.
summer. We decorated because it's also Bella's birthday. So, I have to
Yeah.
decorate.
Well, yeah.
right.
So, but the fam 2 years ago, the December fam, we decorated our villa. The 6 of us decorated the villa with the Christmas, and we had a little menorah to represent Kelly,
Hmm.
our
Yeah.
Jewish friend, and our other Jewish Asians. So remember, we had the little menorah, and it was on the table with all the snacks, and it lit up. And I'm like,
It
this
was
is
so
fun.
cute.
It was so cute.
It
and
was so cute.
so adorable. I'm we rep everybody, and we just have to decorate for everything.
I mean, if we
Exactly.
care this much about decorating our rooms for the holidays, how much more are we going to care about y'all's trips out there when you contact us for your Disney vacation? I'm
Exactly.
just saying. I can't promise you Kyla's going to put a menorah in your room, but you know what? She's going to help you. And if you want that, she'll put you in contact with who can
But
make
we
it
can
happen.
put
Yes,
you in
definitely.
touch with somebody. I'll say Emily can do
Yes,
it.
Bluebird
She
Gifting
can
Co.
totally take care of
Yes.
it.
Yes,
It's
she will
called-
come deliver trees for you, menorahs, garlands, everything.
An
All the
unofficial official
things.
sponsor, Bluebird Gifting Co. Please give her a call. Find her online.
She's
She'd
awesome.
be happy to help. By the way, the Halloween party is an update. The only ones left are October 20th, 21st, 25th, and 27th. Everything else is completely sold out.
Oh.
So the end of October is all you got. The 4th is sold out, which is the
I'm
Halloween party.
actually a little bit
Congratulations.
surprised that the week of Halloween isn't totally sold out. Like the whole week of Halloween.
Same. And so far, the only Christmas party date is still November the 8th. And
Okay.
that actually goes in line with last year because on Time Hop, I have all the stuff that pops up from what was
Right.
going on last year. Same thing. And actually, the first night of Jollywood was sold out at this time last year. And so far, no Jollywood sellouts,
Yeah.
which is okay with me to a point because I'm like, that means it's less crowded. But at the same time, I want it to sell out because I want them to do it again next year.
But I think it's going to be closer too, because as I recall, it was closer in last year when the stuff would sell out. So
once the Halloween party sells out, I think you're going to start seeing some Christmas party sales. Not that people are going to both. Usually, people don't get a chance to go to both unless they're local. But honestly, I can see one sold out and the other starting to sell out. And once the Christmas party starts selling, it will start selling from like
agreed
now. So
is November 8th the night of the first Christmas party?
Yes.
November. Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. So that's why it's sold out. Okay.
That's why.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I Disney this week by watching a movie, and just follow me on this because I got to set this up. So there is a site called Letterboxd, Letterboxd, and it's a site. It's an official site. Like people can log their movies, and I've got an account. I've logged pretty much every movie I've ever seen. They're all in there. You can make lists.
Is this where you rate your movies?
If you wanted to do Boston,
is this where you do it?
I have
Is
ratings
this where
in
you
there as
rate
well.
them?
I have ratings in there, and I have lists of my favorites or whatever. You could do Boston movies. You could do whatever list you came up with. If you wanted to do lists with main characters named Kyla, you could do that. There are tens of thousands of movies in this website.
You didn't hear what she just said. She just said Mafia.
There are hundreds of lists of Mafia films in there. But they also have stats, which of course I'm a nerd when it comes to stats. And you can go back through and you can see how many movies of a certain year that you have seen in your life. My goal is to make sure that I've seen at least 100 films from 1990 every year until now. Some years I've already seen it, like 2019, I've seen like 140 films from that year. 1994, I've seen like 110 mil, whatever. 1990, I've seen 96. So my goal is to watch 4 movies from that year to bring it up to 100. One movie that came out in 1990 was The Rescuers Down Under. Now, I've never seen this movie. No. However, if I'm going to watch that, I need to go back and watch The Rescuers, which I have never seen. And that's what I watched this weekend was The Rescuers. It's adorable. Bianca and Bernard are so cute together. They're so just like, she's so flirty with him and he's like so awkward. He doesn't know what to do. And the villain is great. It's old school 2D animation. And so there is a lot of that just old school style that's kind of, yes, the animation like Entangled is just gorgeous, but I get kind of nostalgic sometimes with that old hand-drawn animation. It's a little clunky and it's great. It reminds me of Robin Hood.
But it's so cute.
The voices are fantastic.
Was it Zsa Zsa Gabor?
Zsa Zsa Gabor and Bob Newhart.
And Bob Newhart.
Yep. I think it was Zsa Zsa. Was it Eva or Zsa Zsa? I think it was Zsa Zsa.
That's what I can't remember. It was a Gabor.
Because the Rescuers Down Under was her final film in 1990. But I'm going to get to that one this week, and I'm also going to watch DuckTales: Treasure of the Lost Lamp, which I've also never seen, and so I will watch that as well. So I don't know. Have you? It's Eva Gabor, by the way, not Zsa Zsa, but it is Eva.
Okay.
Eva. Yeah. And Geraldine Page is Madame Medusa, who is a great villain with a spiky red hair. And
she's a fabulous villain.
Mr. Snoops, which is the henchman, and just it's a fun movie. It comes in like an hour and 20 minutes, so it's a quick watch.
Yeah.
And I love the idea. The beginning cracked me up because I love the idea of all the people are coming to the UN and all the mics are jumping out of the suitcases to go to their own little UN meeting where they're talking about the rescuers and we're going to dispatch so-and-so to rescue. It's just so fun and so random. And anyway, loved it. Thought it was great. So we don't have a lot of news to talk about this week, so we'll skip all that stuff. But there is a rumor that's come out. I want to say this is a rumor. Jen may verify because she knows everything. But otherwise, until Jen says it,
I never know what's coming out of his mouth, guys. Whenever he says that. So
welcome to the life of my own wife, Stephanie. I never know what he's going to say. I don't know how it's going to come out. I have no idea. There is a rumor floating around there that Universal is kind of looking to get rid of Marvel at this point, which completely makes sense. They have a new theme park coming out.
Yeah.
They need money probably.
Mhm.
And so Marvel is not doing them any good because yes, you can say that, well, sure, they own the rights to Marvel. They have this great
They do.
land, but they're also paying licensing fees now to Disney for some of that stuff
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
Disney owns Marvel. So even though they have the rights to it, they're putting money in Disney's pocket. Same thing with The Simpsons over in Springfield in Universal Studios as well. They're
That's
putting money in Disney's pocket because Disney owns
Oh,
The
I
Simpsons.
always
about
forget
that.
that.
Well, I mean, it's like I think that Springfield is probably going to be one of the next things to go because it's
Well,
yes, Simpsons are still around, but they're not nearly as popular as they used to be. It's more
and
of a
also that ride is terrible. Can we
exactly
just
the
agree
ride's
that
not
that ride is
good,
terrible?
and the land is not very immersive. You walk through a few buildings
No.
that look like Springfield, but it's weird
Mm-mm.
because you look around and you could see everything else that's not
Like you
Springfield
could
around
see
you.
Diagon Alley, like
Yeah,
the
across
entry.
the
Yeah,
across the
like
water.
across
It's just
the
so
Universal
weird.
water.
is not immersive. Like nothing about it.
Yeah,
except
well, I mean, the Harry
Unless
Potter
you're
area.
in
Yeah.
no Harry Potter.
this Harry
Well,
Potter.
and that's what Epic is going to be. You go walk through the portals, and the
Yes.
whole lands are just going to be those things. So it's like Galaxy's Edge times 5 based on the lands. But that's
Right.
Epic. Anyway.
see.
So they're looking at getting rid of Marvel, which might take a big check from Disney. I don't know that the amount to get rid of them is going to be as high as it maybe once was. Disney seems pretty happy right now with where they are. They're getting money from Universal. They've got the Guardians set up and everything. This, of course, would give them the rights to all the other characters, the Fantastic Fours and the X-Men and Hulks and Avengers and things like that. What do we think is going to happen? Let's just say Universal offers them up and Disney gets it. Is this a new land? Is this a new park? Is this something we're going to hear about in D23 in 2028, but not see until 2040 because it's Disney Bakery? I mean, Kyla, what do you think about Disney owning Marvel? And what do you think they would do with it?
You're doing this on purpose.
I am doing this on purpose.
Because this literally affects my life in no way whatsoever.
So Marvel is the Avengers. It's
It's
Iron
something I
Man.
don't think about.
There's a character named Captain America.
Yeah. Yep. And it's I did watch like 20 minutes of Captain America
20 minutes.
at a bar once. Funny story. It was on and I was like, what's this? And Frank's like, this is Captain America, Kyla. And it was actually the scene where, what's his name? I forget the actor's name. It is
Chris Evans.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
David. It's when he actually gets turned into him. So he's this like little skinny body, which I think you told me, David, is CGI or Frank.
Probably CGI.
Yeah. Crazy. And then he's like turned into Captain America and like the whole thing. So I saw that scene. This affects my life in no way. I just don't think about this at all. Like maybe we'll get a land, I don't know, in Hollywood studios like 15 years from now. If it happens, like great. If it doesn't, it again just doesn't affect my life.
I think Hollywood Studios would be the likely place.
That's
would be the best place for it.
That would be where it would
But I
go.
don't know that that's where we would put it. I feel like they end up putting it at Epcot and like start surrounding the Guardians area with like Marvel stuff. I don't know if that means they would retheme Test Track.
Like
because we're
Avengers
talking 10 years
campus?
down the road, right?
I mean, it would be a
so
while.
I could see them doing something like that, retheming Test Track again to, I don't know, whatever race car
They're
or something
just
you want to do with Marvel.
retheming it.
I know,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean they won't retheme it in 8 years. I mean, who knows? Who knows? I don't want it in Epcot. I really don't. Again, Hollywood.
I
seems
don't
like the best place
either.
for
It
but
doesn't
I
make
don't
Maybe
want
we
it.
sense.
go in
No.
Hollywood. I mean,
meanwhile, we're talking as if this is a done deal.
Right.
But okay, to me, it makes sense. And David, correct me if I'm wrong, because you know way about this like contract, the west of the Mississippi, the east of the Mississippi thing. If they voluntarily give it up, then that means Disney could do whatever.
Well, Disney would have to get the rights to it. I mean, they
Well,
even
right.
if Universal
But
says
if
you can have it-
Universal was like we're giving up our rights, we don't want this anymore.
right? But
you
I mean,
can do
Disney would have to
whatever.
buy it out. They're not just going to give it over.
Well,
Like, it's,
oh, no,
it's
no,
a,
no,
it's
I
a fat
know.
check. So yeah, but yes,
But-
I mean, I think what you're saying is basically if Universal offered it, Disney would buy it. Disney would then have it. I mean, that's just they would just basically be buying the rights to it for however many billions of dollars because it would be billions.
I mean, it would be a lot.
You know, and Disney would pay for it because overall, what if this happened while you're thinking of your point, Jen? I could see the finger up there.
Yeah.
While you're thinking of this, let's just say it's 2027. Disney has now got all the rights to all the Marvel stuff. They've got it, except for Spider-Man, because Spider-Man, I think
that's what I was going to ask. Is that Sony?
And for Kyla's purposes, Sony Pictures owns Spider-Man. Okay, there's a whole story as to why. I'm not going to bore you with the details of why, but they own Spider-Man. So Disney would not just have to buy Marvel from Universal. They'd have to go to Sony and buy Spider-Man from. They're probably not going to do that right now. Universal probably would keep the Spider-Man ride right where it is and whatever.
Does Universal have to pay Sony?
Probably. I think that I don't know. I don't know the
Well,
contract
does
stuff with
Disney
Sony, but
does Disney pay Sony because Spider-Man's in Disneyland?
that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know
Huh.
what they worked out. But and again, I could say that Disney. I mean,
Huh.
that Sony owns Spider-Man. Disney may be able to get that too. I don't know the details of that. But what if, let's just say it's 2028. Josh Tomorrow, who is still waiting to be the CEO of Disney, still second in command. We've gone through 4 CEOs. Bob Iger keeps coming back for some strange, stupid reason. And Heather's getting tired of waiting. They come out and they announce that Disney, that Marvel is now part of Disney completely. Hollywood Studios, they're going to retheme Rock and Roller Coaster, and then an entire back area becomes a Marvel area.
That could
So instead of going to Tower of Terror, you just go down that hill on the left,
Mhm.
and there's an entire Marvel land back there. You could
Mhm.
retheme Rock and Roller Coaster to the Iron Man coaster that's over Disneyland
Mhm.
Paris. Put another e-ticket ride or another like family
Yeah.
ride in there for whatever. I think that would be tremendous. I think that would be pretty
Yeah.
amazing. Now, obviously,
Yeah,
you keep
good
Guardians
idea.
at Epcot, but yeah, this is
Yeah.
good.
that.
This is good.
Okay,
So
well,
probably not going to happen.
yes.
Yes, I mean we're solving problems
Figuring us
here.
out.
Yeah,
mean,
like we got
Josh,
this.
You're
This is what
listening.
you should do.
Take some notes.
I mean, assuming
yeah.
that this happens, I'm just saying.
Get a
Just saying.
post-it, write the notes on your desk, and slap it on your desk. So,
Oh my gosh. They probably have something electronic. I'm just guessing. Probably.
I don't know if Josh Tomorrow has Post-its on his desk.
I'm sure he has post-its on his desk. I'm sure. Now he probably also has stuff in his phone, so when he's not at his desk, he can access it pretty easily. I don't know why somebody wouldn't have stuff on their phone. That's just dumb to not have that.
Mhm.
But anyway, so speaking of
Yeah.
filling spaces and filling up new areas of Disney, we decided there are 4 areas of Disney that are empty. I mean, there's a lot more space than that besides just these 4. But
4
4
main.
very glaring areas of Disney. We're like, there's nothing in there.
There's
Why won't
nothing.
they do something with Zero? So we're going to go through and try to put something in these areas. So we all have some ideas of what can go in these areas. We're going to start with Disney Springs, the old DisneyQuest building, NBA
Yes.
experience, which had the unfortunate fate of opening around COVID.
It
never caught
opened the
traction.
week before.
Exactly, which
Because I was
honestly,
there.
I don't know that it would have lasted much longer anyway, because I don't think the
mean-
NBA is as popular with the culture as people say it is. I mean,
Yeah.
overseas, yes. Here, college and pro footballers.
I mean, it was cool.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it was
Did
very
you do it?
niche.
I never did
I
it.
did.
I never did it.
Yeah, when I went down for when Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opened, part of the event we also did the NBA experience. And you know what? It was cool. If you are an NBA fan, you would have been like, "Oh my gosh," you would have been in your element. Someone like me that like honestly I don't even watch basketball. I was like, I mean, this is cool, but like I would have had no need to go back.
Yeah, same girl.
I never went. I never cared. Honestly, like if I'd had free time, we were all in Disney Springs, and one of you would be like, "Let's go to the Disney NBA experience." I'd be like, "Really? Can we go back to I'll do a meat tasting. Let's do that." I mean, just honestly, I could care less about it. I like basketball. It's fine. I just didn't care. And most people didn't either, which is why it's closed.
Which is why it's closed. I mean,
which is the place of DisneyQuest. So Jen, let me ask you, if and when Josh calls us up and says, "Hey Jen, we're taking some feedback from some great podcasts. We've talked to a few people, blah, 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 blah." What is your take? Because you're just as important as I am, Josh speaking. What would you put in the old building where it used to be DisneyQuest and NBA Experience? What goes in there? It's like a 4-story building, a lot of space.
Yeah. So because of the 4 stories, here's where I'm going with it. Like, I actually kind of want to take it back to its original purpose.
Okay.
So on one floor, so it was DisneyQuest was basically like the new VR at the time. Virtual reality was extremely new, right? And so it was video games. There was a cost associated, right?
Like $20
different
or whatever.
It wasn't
the whole,
like
you
crazy.
have to run the whole place. I mean,
but you had the run of the whole place. Exactly. All right. But video games have become a huge part of culture. Part of me thinks, so for one, I'm going to start with the easy stuff. I want like the old school ping pong, Donkey Kong, Pac-Man,
right?
Like the old school, right, games. I also want, I know they just acquired, David, you're going to have to help me at D23. What was they do
Fortnite?
the Minecraft.
Fortnite.
Yeah. The Fortnite thing. What's that called?
Not Minecraft.
It's just Fortnite.
Roblox?
but-
Fortnite?
No, it is Fortnite. It is Fortnite. It is Fortnite.
Fortnite. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Again, obviously, I know it's very popular though.
Right.
Just because I
You're
don't play
throwing
it.
out
like,
names
I'm
that-
not minimizing it. I just don't know it. Okay. But I
Super
think
Mario,
with,
Nintendo.
with that partnership, they could put together something absolutely incredible
Mhm.
for that. Of course, it would have to be a cover charge, right?
Right.
And you have 4 floors, and then I think one could be the hardcore VR, and maybe one of those rooms, okay, because each floor had multiple
Mhm.
rooms. I would love to see where like you could do ride-throughs of vintage Disney rides, like the old
That is
like
a great idea.
Through
Mm.
Horizons. Like
Oh.
for those of us who remember it, you could still kind of ride it.
That
in-
is that you could do like motion simulators
Yeah.
where the ride surrounds you like a
Yes.
180-degree screen
Yes.
or whatever.
I would pay
And
for that.
I mean, the ride just kind of moves and everything based on the ride
Mhm.
itself. And so,
But there's
Body
something
Wars,
for
Penny
everybody.
Command, whatever.
Yes.
You know,
That
exactly.
would be cool.
Yep. That'd
Yeah,
be really, really cool.
you could do a little bit. I just think that could be appealing, and it would be easy enough to change over. So, okay, this game suddenly isn't whatever anymore.
Right.
But now we can bring this in. Like it would be easy enough because people still did go to DisneyQuest. I know it wasn't
Yeah.
just because the technology wasn't necessarily kept
Mm.
up to date, is why I think it kind of like waned in popularity.
Kyla,
So-
what do you think? What would you put in there?
The complete opposite. We have no budget on this, right?
Budget.
Ah, there's a budget.
So what I was thinking, because I'm not a video game person. I didn't have anything growing up video game wise. Like we
Mhm.
just didn't have them in the house. To my dismay, we finally got the girls last year, and but it's just not my thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I decided that this building should be a Parisian cafe. And
I like it.
okay. And you like build it up.
I
It's
like it.
stories, right? So you build it on the outside like it looks like in the streets of Paris, which Jen and I
Okay.
were like, we were able to experience
Yes.
last year.
Yeah.
And so, at these little cafes outside. So I thought that would be really cool. And then they could build it up. You can watch the drone show from these like little balconies outside, but
Mhm.
inside, maybe make it some sort of like burlesque, not burlesque, like Moulin Rouge, but Disney.
But
vibes.
maybe like
Right.
clothed.
Yes,
Right.
but they actually have the tops on. So maybe some sort of like dinner and a show type thing.
Okay. Dinner and a show. I like that. I like that.
That's my.
Mm.
I'm trying to think outside the
Mm.
box here.
I'm kind of thinking of combining the two actually, because I love the idea of going back to like a Disney Quest concept, because you got 4 floors and you could do one with this nothing but retro gaming where it would, I
Yes.
mean, because I know the problem was some of the problem was we couldn't keep up with technology. With the retro stuff, you wouldn't have to keep up with technology. You keep things
Right.
serviced and everything, but it's not like you're having to add new things to Pac-Man or new things
Mhm.
to Galaga or whatever. They are what they are, and you have just a row like an arcade basically. You go into either Flynn's arcade or whatever the name of the arcade is in Wreck-It Ralph, that arcade, and just that's what you call it.
Oh
And
yeah,
there's like
cute.
just
Yeah.
games everywhere, and there's like the Nintendo Power Pad, and there's the Dance Dance Revolution, whatever, and it's all kept up. It's like a bigger version of the small arcades you see in a lot of the resorts. It's all kept up and everything.
Right.
Do one floor where you have the Void. Bring the Void back.
Oh, I love the Void.
Was
Good thought.
tremendous. It was so
Good-
much fun, and
good thought.
because there was there was an Avengers Void over in Disneyland that they never brought here, but do
That
like
would
3
have
or
been
4 of them.
great.
If you wanted to do an escape room, this would be the place to do it. Have like a floor of like
Yes.
Disney escape rooms where you're escaping,
Not
Captain
doing
Hook, or you're escaping the
I
Haunted
would do
Mansion,
it.
or just whatever. 3 or 4 escape rooms you have the room
I would
for.
totally do it.
And then maybe in that top floor, you have either new stuff or whatever, but you could also rent that space out to like local clubs who are doing like game tournaments and card shows and things like that. At Disney Quest, come to Disney Quest, we're having, because whether we like it or not, Dungeons and Dragons is still a big thing. Magic
Oh,
the
they
Gathering is
could-
still a
yeah.
big thing. Pokemon, whatever. Those people,
Don't,
those nerds,
don't
they
people
sit-
still trade those Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom cards too?
They do, I think, but you
Is
could
that
also do
still a
card
thing?
shows. You could do Disney collectible
Oh.
shows there. You could have like
Yeah.
pin stuff there. Like you could have
Pins,
that top floor
mhm.
with just those kinds of things.
That's a good idea.
And make it like an all-purpose thing. So you go in, you have access to the first 3 floors. If you go to the 4th floor,
Mhm.
like Kyla said, open up at the top, maybe put like
Mhm.
a bar and a grill up there or a restaurant, see the drone show. They would sell Disney. I'm asking you to sell stuff. You can make money here. You could sell seating to the drone show if they bring it back. You could sell
Yeah.
like a dessert party up there. You could rent it out for your company or whatever, that top floor to do whatever, do card stuff up there, whatever you're going to do.
That'd
you
be cool.
I think this works. Yep.
We
And
came up with some great ideas.
this is a
And
good
I'm,
idea.
not-
Matter of
I
fact,
think there's a lot there.
I think this is great. Show's over. This is good. We can't get into it. So
I'm going to be at
let's-
the mead tasting while you do your escape room. That is not for me.
But you want to come to the VR ride through of the old attractions.
That's
with me.
fine. But an escape room, like if I'm stuck in a room with a bunch of people and I need to figure out how to get
But
out.
maybe it's people you
Here's
know.
what you do, Jen. Hey, Kyla, we're in this escape room. There's free margaritas at the end. Fine, give me the key. Got it. Okay, next room. 3 minutes later. Okay, here's the code. All right, let's go. Let's go.
It is not my idea of fun to figure out how to get out of a room. Like I don't understand the concept. Portsmouth has an escape room and Bella's like dying to go. And I'm like, go with your friends.
Do you really not understand the concept? You just don't understand the fun.
I like to have fun.
Well, I mean, I'm saying like, I'm not saying that you think it has to be fun. I'm just saying like the way you said it was that you didn't understand how they work. But I think it's more of a you don't understand.
As
You
a
don't
teen,
understand
It's a
why
bunch of
people think this
puzzles.
is
Yeah.
why people think this is fun. This is not fun. Why do people think this is fun? That's what I feel like you're saying. Not how does this even work? Because there is a method to escape
no,
rooms. I mean,
as we know, I like working by myself. And
you can do that if you want.
Doesn't work as well though.
Let's hop over to Hollywood Studios. Now we have a choice here because there are two places. One is not empty actually. Launch Bay. It's going to go away more than likely. It's been a filler for a
Probably,
long
yeah.
time with Star Wars stuff, which just
Yep.
makes sense because you got that, and then down the aisle you got Star Tours, and then around the corner through a tunnel you got Galaxy's Edge. So it's like Star Wars is spread out in 3 different places. So they'll
Mhm.
do something to Launch Bay.
Mhm.
But also, if you're going towards Pixar Place, which is towards Toy Story Land, but instead of taking the right Toy Story, you go straight on. There's the meet and greets are down there.
Yep.
And there's that empty building space. I don't even remember. Jen, maybe you remember what was there before. I don't remember what was there before.
Oh man,
sort of
it was
show or
part
something
of
down
like
there.
Streets of America. Like
Right.
there was it was all part of that larger
Mhm.
Streets of
Oh.
America scene. And then they themed it to the
Street Spirit.
Incredibles, and they had all the stuff down there.
Right.
And then COVID shut that down.
Yeah.
And then like some of it has come back, but just like not all of
Right.
it has come
But
back.
it's an empty space, and I think that's probably where I don't know if they could put Monsters Inc. Land there or not because I don't know if there's enough room.
I
Um,
don't
Find
know.
it. I don't
I
know.
kind of think it'll go to the Launch Bay, but that's the option. You guys can
Right.
choose either one, and I'm going to go with retheming Launch Bay. Let's just pretend they're putting Monsters Inc. down there on Pixar side, which would
Okay.
make sense if they have the room for it. Launch Bay, I think it needs to be an entire like character land, basically. Like it was a whole like before it was meet and greet. You
Mhm,
walk in there, was an
mhm.
animation studio
Mhm.
was in there. You could do
Yep.
animation stuff and meet
Yep.
certain characters. I think it would be cool to have 4 or 5 different character experiences in there, not just meeting the characters, but you're walking into their world. Like this would be where you'd put Tinkerbell and Pixie Hollow. This would be where you would put the Incredibles and you put
I
the
see.
whole thing,
Okay.
the whole theming
Yeah.
around like the city that they're in, and maybe even meet Syndrome or something. Robin Hood, you can make the whole place a forest, and just have special
Oh.
characters special character families that would come out, and they rotate. Maybe now through the October you get to meet Robin Hood and the family, but in October here comes the Aristocats, meet all of them, whatever. I think it would be fan service. Fans would love to see some of those characters,
Hmm.
and you know what? They only come out.
Bernard and Bianca.
Bernard and Bianca, the rescuers, during event parties and stuff, you bring out those characters like Bernard and Bianca. You bring out the Bolt characters. You bring
Yeah.
out, you bring out the Three Caballeros. You bring out whatever characters maybe that are more rare. Bring those characters out and stuff. High
Mhm.
School Musical characters come out. I don't know. Maybe Kyla would love that. But you make this like a character experience, where people just get the fans get to go in and meet the characters that they don't ever get to meet, and I think it would be really cool. And you'd have a place to put Tinkerbell. I know they're not doing Tinkerbell in the park, something about body image and whatever. Who cares? But
Weird.
do stuff like that. I think that would be cool. So, Kyla, what do you think they should put there in Launch Bay or in the Pixar area?
Okay, well, we know how I feel about meeting characters.
Right.
So that is not involved in my idea.
Uh,
What I do love in Hollywood, though, is One Man's Dream, that
Mhm.
attraction, which
yes.
not a ride, but it's a walkthrough, and you basically look at Walt's life. For anyone who hasn't done it, there's artifacts. Artifacts? Is that the right word?
Artifacts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, artifacts from like his life, his school desk, like just all kinds of stuff from being Imagineer, and then all the way up to like the Disney Cruise Line, the castle,
Yeah.
the replicas of them. So I thought it would be really cool since Hollywood Studios is supposed to be focused on movies, and there's
Mhm.
3 represented in the park, more or less. That it should be an ode to their most popular movies through the years. And there should be like
Oh.
artifacts from like all of these movies over the years. Like Great Movie Ride used to have the slippers from Wizard of Oz.
Oh, the Dorothy,
Right,
yeah.
right.
Yes, I remember that because that was my favorite movie growing up. So just like all of these like little gems from movies over the years, you know, like Bed Knobs and Broomsticks or Swiss Family Robinson. You know, all like the classics that have unfortunately like generations beyond us may not know unless we introduce them.
Yeah.
You know, like I introduced my kids to Swiss Family Robinson. They haven't watched Herbie or Bed Knobs yet. I kind of have to convince Bella.
I haven't seen Bed
on
Knobs yet
that.
either, so I understand.
But I thought that would be really cool to bring a bunch of exhibits in from movies over the years that have had like an impact because this park is supposed to be about movies. And I feel like some of that was lost with all the changes.
You could call it like a, not want to say great movie walkthrough, but something like that, where you're walking through the great movies and even have like exhibits and stuff where maybe you can stand with, take pictures with the scarecrow, take pictures. I mean, not, they would, they would just be
That'd be
there.
awesome.
They're not like walking characters, but they're just, or like be in certain, you know, certain scenes and stuff, taking pictures, maybe even this area you can put red slippers on around your feet, you know, and click them 3 times or whatever. I think that would be very cool.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. So like, but I'm a total nerd and love like walking through stuff like that. So I realize it wouldn't be interesting to everybody, but I think a lot of
That would be cool.
our generation and older would love it.
Yeah.
Well, and you're also introducing those classic films to a new generation of fans.
Exactly.
As well. And so not just you get this, your kids like watching Wizard of Oz going, okay, this is fine. They're actually seeing the artifacts. They're trying on the red slipper. They're kind of experiencing some of the stuff. I think that would be really cool. Good call. Jen, what would you do with Hollywood?
So this is funny. Actually, this is like kind of the last one I figured out. So it's maybe not quite as detailed, but what's hilarious is what I wrote down to Stark Labs. And I'm like, and the reason I didn't flesh it out too much, I'm like, well, I don't even know that this could actually work because it's Marvel. Well, I mean, who knows? Maybe if it happens. I just feel like that warehouse section, you could do more, because I was thinking, what needs some more presence in the park? Well, in World, we don't have a lot of Marvel because, and that is a huge, as you know, like we have Star Wars. Okay, we got that whole IP done. Okay,
check
the box. But if we could make it like into a walk through Stark Labs that maybe has some interactive elements, like for kids, you know, and I don't know exactly what would be in there. But, you know, yes, of course, the Iron Man suit, you know, would clearly be there. But you could also open that up to, you know, the rest of the Avengers and the rest of, you know, all of that. So I think there is some potential there. And also, yes, character meets, because there are, you know, obviously rooms for the characters, but the focus being something a little bit more interactive and the artifacts. So.
And I was just thinking for both of these, for the walkthrough of the movies and for the Stark Lab, the photo pass opportunities would be tremendous. I mean, how cool would it be to be able to take a picture with like Thanos's glove, you know, holding Thanos's glove, or taking a picture with the arc reactor on your chest, or even like Iron Man's glove. I just think that would be so super cool. Holding Captain America's shield.
And broomsticks car.
That too. I mean, you're all in the car. That's a great family photo. You're all in the bed. That's like, kind of weird, but okay, I love that.
The bed. Sorry.
I mean, that's what it is.
Oh, the bed car. The bed car. That's
the bed car. That's my lounge.
It was there. It was. It is.
Yes, great ideas. We are so good.
All right, so let's go hop over to Magic Kingdom. Of course, there is the Alien Encounter Theater. Now, of course, became Stitch's Great Escape, which was just
I'm raising my hand.
Yes, Jen. Yes.
I hated Alien
Encounter
that so much. It was the worst attraction in the history of ever.
Yep.
It was terrifying.
I don't know. Okay, so gun to your head.
It was awful.
Riding Aliens Encounter or Tough to Be a Bug, or do you?
I would ride Tough to Be a Bug.
Okay.
I was
gonna say, or do you just say, you know what? I'm going to Glory and I'm fine with it.
I mean, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll take the third option. But I am telling you, it was the worst.
Oh my God. When it was breathing in your
ear.
Can you explain what this was back in the day? And
yeah. Okay. So Alien Encounter was a ride put together. Not Michael Eisner put it together, but he endorsed this ride because it was more of an adult themed ride where you go into this big circle, this alien, the pre-show, and Stitch's Great Escape was the same thing. It's showing that Stitch and or the alien escaped. So you're in the big theater, you sit in these seats, these harnesses come down above your head to your shoulders, and they basically go and they like land on your shoulders and they basically strap you in,
Like,
which is
I
that
was
was the weirdest
thinking
thing for me.
about it.
Claustrophobia is just crazy because
Oh.
it's pressing down on your shoulders,
And
and
it
if you
making
didn't
you think that it's making you think you're actually going somewhere.
well, and if you didn't sit right, it'd be like those things would hurt your
You
shoulders,
it was
right?
hurt, yes.
So you had the middle scene, and this actually sets up well for what we're going to do with distraction. You have this middle area, so it's this theater on the round. The seats are surrounding the circular area in the middle, where there's this presentation of the alien, whatever. Now it's escaped, so the whole theater goes dark, and all of a sudden you hear the growl of the alien. You hear the on your neck. You hear that in your ear because it's the pieces on your harness. It's like breathing on your neck. You hear air on your neck as it's bouncing around. Stitch would do this thing, would be like boing boing, and he'd bounce all over, and so your harness would move up and down like he's bouncing on you. Stitch also burped on you, so you smell like chili dogs. And at the end, of course, everything's happy because they capture it again, right? But that was Alien Encounter, and it lasted however many years. A lot of people
Awful.
loved this ride. A
No.
lot of families didn't like this ride because it was scary for kids, and it was one of those concepts of like
Scary for a
Walt-
20-something-year-old.
Walt would never put an attraction in that all parts of the family could not enjoy, whether it's a height restriction or not. As long as you could get past the height restriction and the safety part of it, all families needed to enjoy it, which is why Alien Encounter did not last. Also, I think it was like a technological nightmare, is my guess in terms of maintenance.
Right.
From what I understand, and I think we've mentioned this before, but as I've always read, the reason they can't gut this building is because it shares a roof and a building structure with cosmic rays. In order to fix this, they have to shut cosmic rays down, which they are not going to do because that is at last I heard, the second busiest restaurant in the world. And so you just can't
Cosmic
stop cosmic rays. Open until close. It's open during after hours parties. It's open during the event parties and stuff. It's always busy all day. And in the most visited park in the world, Magic Kingdom. So yes, it is one of the busiest restaurants in the world. So.
Even the best quick serve.
It's not.
But it's easy.
Sorry.
I mean, and I know I can't say that if you're a family of four, because you are, but for a family that wants something quick, they want burgers or chicken, you go in, you get it, and you sit down. It's a large area to sit. It's easy for moms who are like, yeah, I don't want another burger, but this is just too easy. Just go get it. It's fine. Again, I'm speaking like you're not a mom of two. So, but yeah, that's why. So they can't gut the structure out. So whatever we come up with has to have that same structure in there. So my thought for this, and I'll go first on this. My thought in this is to make this like a theater show. You got the theater on the round. Okay, so what we're going to do, because we'll get to Epcot later, but we're taking out Pixar's Film Fest. We're putting a 4-sided screen here, like a 4-sided theater. So in the round, you've got like screens in front of you so you can see everything. We're putting the Pixar films in there, but this is now a 4D theater where the whole theater is moving. You hear the sounds, you feel the wind, you hear the rumbles. If there are explosions, you hear the like everything happening around your chair. The whole
like Awesome
moving.
Planet and
Exactly, like sort of, but not really. I mean, you're
what's it called?
It's like what
Awesome Planet.
If they did Honey, I Shrunk the Audience now and they put all the technology in there, it's like what that would be, where everything moved and everything. That's what a 4D theater is. I know people who went to see Twisters in 4D, where there was wind coming through the theater and the whole theater was shaking, whatever. That would be so cool in here, watching the Pixar short films and everything is moving. And when the volcano goes down under the water in the short lava, water kind of spritzes up, and you hear the splashing all around you and stuff like that. And when the volcano erupts, you feel heat through the audience and stuff. I think it would be kind of cool, a cool experience. Something that would safe for the families. It's kind of cool. The boys would enjoy it because you're moving. The girls would enjoy the movie part of it. It's easy because you wouldn't have to do much. Just put new theaters in there and kind of the moving technology or whatever. And it's a people eater because a lot of people can fit in there at one time. So that's my thought of how to fix that. Jen, what are your thoughts?
So I was, again, trying to think of IP that Disney has that they really aren't utilizing in the parks for rides. I know, listen, people have talked about, hey, that could become Wreck-It Ralph. That could, all these things. I was trying to think of something that would sort of at least somewhat tangentially relate to Tomorrowland. And one of the
not
scenes
Home on the Range.
Yeah, no, like
Got
not
it.
that one.
Okay,
Yeah, not that one.
it.
I went through a lot and I settled on Soul, which again, tangential, but it doesn't fit in there any worse than Monsters Inc. Okay. So it's like, come on, let's be real.
Right.
And in that sort of, I don't want to say that fugue state where there's the little, what's Amy's polar characters? What are those called? Little idea, like the consciences, the little.
In what movie?
In Soul.
So you mean Tina Fey's character?
I'm sorry. Yeah. Tina Fey's character.
The numbers. I know
the numbers.
Yeah,
the numbers.
I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so my whole thought was like in the center, like, yes, you still keep it the theater in the round and you see Joe playing and he's sort of telling the story. And this is where the technology is going to have to come in because you're in the theater, but then somehow your little like harness has like a little screen over it. So it's like a little like bubble helmet, right?
Right.
And you start getting into the zone. Remember when Joe would play, he would get into the zone, right? And it's sort of a choose your own adventure. You like with the VR, you're picking like your favorite activity and you're going in the zone and you have the Tina Fey character like narrating in your head whatever activity it is you're doing. And you could have multiple different ones.
It's like Spaceship Earth where you're building your future.
Stop talking. That's my idea.
Including some ideas that we happen to know about.
So I don't know. That was my thought. That way we get stolen there.
Kyla, what's your idea again?
I wrote it down so you don't think I'm stealing anybody's idea. So I was thinking what fits into Tomorrowland. And like Jen, I was thinking of an IP. I couldn't come up with the IP because Buzz Lightyear is already there. And that's really
he's already there.
Yeah,
right.
That was like really the only thing sticking in my head. So what I was thinking was the Spaceship Earth ride, for those that don't know, you do like a little thing on the screen in front of you. I explain things so terribly. I'm like the thing on the thing, like there's a screen in front of you on the car that you're riding in Spaceship Earth. And towards the end of the ride, you start answering questions like what kind of community do you want to live in the future? Like land, under sea, blah, blah, blah. And you answer all these questions. So I was like, wouldn't it be cool if that was like a room that you choose your future? Because I'm trying to think future, Tomorrowland. So then you get in the ride. Again, we have no budget here, and I wasn't thinking that the room was like a one room. So I was
we
like,
can work around this. We can work around it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Josh will approve it. So I was like, oh, you pick your own adventure at the beginning, and then you get in the ride and ride that adventure.
Okay.
And then, they have to add Disney touches to it. Like there's gonna be Disney details and maybe like a character pops in depending on which adventure you choose. Like if you chose your under the sea future world life, like Ariel swims by, or like if you want to live in space, like Buzz Lightyear flies by. So I was like, oh, that kind of could be cool. They're not the space for it at all. They're not going to do this at all. But I thought it was a cool idea.
I like it.
I like that. Now, of course, just maybe they could fix the picture technology where like half of your head is not in the picture.
Oh my God.
Like a block over my eye.
Right.
So like my
or
eye
it's like
is
last time
missing.
it was like literally like my chin. I was like, how is
it's like, look at all these amazing things Disney is doing in 2024. And then you see that and you're like, oh, well, there's that. So it's like that. The photography is the Disney IT of the theme park world. It's ridiculous. It's insane.
That's hilarious.
So, last but not least, let's talk about Epcot. You got the Wonders of Life Pavilion and the Odyssey Pavilion. These are two empty pavilions that have been used for festival things. People go in and do festival stuff and get the pickle milkshake, which we all loved, and such. Well, now the Communicore Hall is open. A lot of that has been taken away because they put stuff in Communicore Hall. Now, I'm sure they'll probably still use some stuff for festivals and stuff, but now the question is, what do we do with these two buildings? So rather than trying to fill both of them, I'm going to ask Jen, pick one. Which one would you pick, and what would you put in there?
Wonders of Life? I'm picking Wonders of Life every day. I think it was just such an iconic pavilion, and it was one of the originals, and it kills me that it's sitting empty. So, and the first thing that popped into my head, and I actually thought about this when Inside Out came out, Cranium Command, you could so easily convert that.
I like it.
Because you remember, like, you would see, like, the eyes open, right? And you had Buzzy, which, R.I.P. Buzzy, we don't know where you are. Come find it. Come back, Buzzy.
We miss you, Buzzy. Come back.
We miss you, Buzzy.
It's in somewhere, right?
No, we don't. Nobody knows where he is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's got
he was stolen
somewhere.
He was like stolen somehow.
You know who has it? John Stamos. Because he has all the Disney artifacts that go away from the parks.
Yes.
So, but regardless, but from what I understand, unless they've done work in there, that entire theater is still there. You change it and it's the inside out characters and it's a day in the life of Riley or like, and and it could
Right.
be, it could switch around kind of like Star Tours, like you have different scenes. So it's not always going to be the same,
She's going
whatever
to
storyline. She's at
soccer.
hockey. She's at, she's having a thing with a friend and you get the emotions in there. And now with like all the new emotions, like they could do something so
Fantastic idea.
cool with that. And then, and then like Body Wars, I still haven't fully fleshed out what that could be, but I know
hated it. I thought I was going into a body and nobody told me otherwise. Thanks, Dad.
I mean, you were going into a body, kind of.
I was like 5. I didn't know that I wasn't going into a human body.
But honestly, you could even judge that back up and make it educational, kind of same thing. Like you got the emotions, right? Where Cranium Command was, and you could just retheme that. Well, you could also retheme and keep the same idea of Body Wars. You could update it, and that could be another educational thing. And then it's still Wonders of Life Pavilion.
It's saying. Like physiologically what is happening to your body when you're going through these emotions. I see it. I see it all coming together. That was really good.
That's good. That's good. It is. I'm going to go Wonders of Life as well, because it's a pretty large pavilion.
It is.
And originally in this pavilion was Cranium Command and Body Wars. You had Frontiers of Medicine. You had Goofy About Health. You had the Sensory Funhouse, Wonder Cycles, which were stationary bikes with televisions attached, of all things. You had a fitness area. You had Coach's Corner where you could swing a bat with professional players give tips. So you had all these educational things. I think you take what was innovations and you put it in Wonders of Life. Turn this into, because Epcot's like gone away from the educational part, make this kind of a return to the roots kind of thing. Taking your plan from DisneyQuest, doing something where you have motion simulators to kind of let you ride Cranium Command and Body Wars without having to do the whole thing over again, where you have 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever individual little things or motion simulators. You actually get to ride it again. You can have 2 or 3 other attractions, maybe Snow White Scary Adventures. You could do a ride through on that because that's gone. You could do Mr. Toad's Wild Ride or something. Attractions that are no longer here, you could see in your own little motion simulator kind of thing. You could see that. Bring back Some of All Fears with the roller coaster type thing, you can do educational kind of setups and everything. Just make this a whole educational area where you have different activities, different things to do, some virtual reality stuff if you want to do some of that. A lot of the stuff that you had said as well, bring back some of the characters, make some inside out stuff in there. You could even do an area, any new movie that comes in, set up that area for the new movie and do like do something. I mean, imagine how cool it would be to have a motion simulator where you're in an X-Wing fighter going down the trenches of the Death Star. I mean, just for 2 minutes, you just get to, you don't do it, you just fire, you pew, 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 whatever. I mean, nothing happens to you. You don't explode, but you're just going down the trenches, or you're on a speeder bike going through indoor forest, like in Return of the Jedi, just, with the motion. You can do a whole setup of 5 or 6 things, where people can just go around and do what they want to do and utilize that space. And it would be a nod to old Epcot, and people would love that. It would also be new stuff that people will get to experience, and things that when they can't get on Guardians because it's still virtual queue 5 years later, and Test Track is full and Frozen is full and Remy is full. Let's go do Wonders of Life. We'll go do some of the attractions over there, and maybe not wait very long or whatever. I'm not saying bring back Waste Management or bring back the Twister tornado thingy or whatever, but nothing like that. But like do small individual rides and things like that in there to kind of harken back to old Epcot, but also new stuff as well. I think that'd be a great use of the space too. So Kyla, what do you think about either Wonders of Life or Odyssey? I know you were chomping at the bit earlier to tell us your idea. So what is it?
I speed thought about an idea. Well, the Odyssey should just be another country. So let's just build another country, Disney. I've been dying for another country, but I was going to choose the Wonders of Life.
Before you go to the Wonders of Life though, I want to flesh that out. Would you level that building and put a country there? Would you make the whole country indoors? I mean, how would you? Would it be like Antarctica where it's too cold to be outside, so you're inside? And
that's not a bad idea.
You can't level that building. That's where the nurses and the baby station is.
Right.
So you have to leave that little piece.
You got to go through like Antarctica is on the bottom. I was like, you got to go through the Drake Passage. So there's side in there.
The sidewalks move up and down.
You get the Drake shake.
And that's the kiosk at the end. You get the Drake shake. It's vanilla and chocolate. It's great.
We have such good ideas. I can't believe it. No, my idea was to bring Wonders of Life back to its roots, much like you, David, but in a different way. So,
Okay.
what was the ride with the dinosaurs in Epcot?
Universe of Energy?
Okay, yes,
Yeah.
it's super boring, right? I remember like falling
You mean
asleep.
before it was Ellen's Energy
Ellen's
Adventure?
Adventure.
Yes, Ellen's
The
Energy
Big Bang? The Piggy Bank? The Ding Dang?
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, well, what if we went back to the roots and as a nod to that, because that was the best part of the ride, like just the dinosaurs, like, what if we make it? And I can't decide if I want to walk through or a ride, because again, I have no budget. So, I mean, like Disney says, there's no budget here. You can spend whatever you want. So I'm like, is it a walkthrough? But I already made a walkthrough in Hollywood. So I don't know what's better. Like, do we do a walkthrough of like from the dinosaurs to now? And I'm thinking like the Museum of Science in Boston, you can touch material that felt like their skin and see the size of their I was gonna say paw prints, dinosaur prints, whatever you call dinosaur prints. Hoof. I don't know.
Did they have hooves? I don't know.
What did they have? So like an interactive exhibit with like touchy-feely stuff, but it moves through the years. And it would go from like dinosaurs to whatever's next, and then kind of end with the Imagineers and their ideas and their designs. And I don't know if this is a ride or a walkthrough. Again, I don't know what would
what
be
if it's
better,
what if it's both? Because I'm
fleshing it out.
imagining what if they did like a circular track of sorts, like a slow moving track that if you wanted to, you could stand or even kind of squat or maybe have a
like
good
an
steer there. And
escalator?
exactly, but it's on a flat surface, and just basically you could ride the entire thing around at a very slow pace. If you wanted to step off, you could interact with the things.
Oh, kind of like the crown jewels thing, except except you could get off.
Yeah, I mean, I have to move very slow. You have to have cast members everywhere to help you off. But over at Carousel of Progress at Disneyland, they have that. It's a very slow moving thing. You step off and step on when you want to experience that part of the attraction. So do the same thing. You could stand the entire time or sit the entire time and see the whole thing in 20 minutes. Or step off, walk through it as well if you'd like. I mean, at your own pace, quicker pace. So yeah, I think that works.
Again, I'm super nerdy. I love the details and the design and like the backstory of the stuff, which is why I was thinking that way. But yeah, from the dinosaurs, which is an ode to Epcot's roots, to like the Imagineers, the materials they use for costumes, like the designs behind the scenes, like kind of, I just couldn't decide. But that's a great idea, that escalator, but it's like it's like at Logan. Like
it's like a moving sidewalk.
Yes, like moving sidewalk.
Yep.
Yeah, and like Jen was saying, it's at the Crown Jewels in London too. You just move past the Crown Jewels. You just can't get off. You don't touch go. You don't touch stop. You don't get $200. You just keep going. They are watching you. But yeah, I thought that would be really cool for like our generation, for new generations, old generations. That's my idea.
I like that. Very good. Very good. We're solving Disney's problems. This is great. Between Heather and I doing the Villains Land and filling all the spaces here. This is great. We filled the blank spaces and didn't even need Taylor Swift's help. Good job. Jen, where can we find you on the great wide interwebs?
You can find me at Upon a Star Jen or my personal Instagram at Jen_Novotny, which granted I haven't posted on in a long time on that one. But I will.
You post when you travel. Which
I post when I travel.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep. And Kyla, you have a trip coming up soon, a couple of weeks to Disney World in October. I was not invited, so I am not coming. But
you were invited. In fact, you were both invited.
I know.
It's Brady's birthday weekend.
I know.
That's why I'm not going either. Brady's birthday weekend. I'm going to celebrate her. So, Kyla, where can we find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at Kyla Melberg travel agent at Upon a Star Travel on Facebook and at Disney Geek 27 on Instagram still, because I haven't decided on my new name yet. That's why I'm still Disney Geek.
Well, go follow Disney Geek 27. Again, one of my favorite accounts because she's always posting. Kyla, I'm bragging on you like you're not here. Always posting. It is always great stuff. It's fun stuff. She tags me on some things, which is great. So, but although I did see a reel not too long ago where it was like 10 pictures and I wasn't in any of them. There were some people that were, but I was not. I'm like, okay.
Did I see you this summer? It was my summer reel, and I didn't see you this summer, which is why you weren't in the reel, David.
I mean, there was a June picture, but hey.
Because Jen came up this summer.
I mean, Pittsburgh, but that's okay. That's all right. That's
it was a group photo. You were in it. That counts. Oh my God, I can't.
I'm just saying. I didn't make the cut. It's all right. Find me on Instagram at the Magic on a Dollar. Find me on Facebook at Magic on a Dollar and Disney on a Dollar. And of course, I have another podcast called the Deucecast Movie Show, which is where you'll hear all about the movies we talked about earlier on and all the nerd stats and things like that, because we're just total movie nerds, which is great. I've only seen 112 new to me movies this year, I believe, but only 44 of them have been from 2024. So it's a little crazy.
I've
So
seen a whole whopping 3 new to me movies this
I
year.
saw 6 this weekend,
so-
just either in the
new to
theater.
movies?
Like
Wow.
movies I like, older movies, that I've never seen, like from 20 years ago or 30 years ago or this year or
So like The Rescuers would have been a new to him movie.
Yeah, new to me
Yeah,
movie.
no,
That goes
I
with
was
my new to
just
me
trying
movies.
to think if I've watched any new to me movies, but I just stick with the same old classics like Goodfellas, you know?
Couples Retreat. What?
Yeah, I've seen a matter of fact, I mean, I've seen so many of them that I actually I have a listing of every movie that I've seen since 2012, because I've kept track of them all along, which is probably a
Crazy.
little nuts, but yeah, a little crazy, but that's okay. So yeah, I haven't seen anything in 2 days though, so I'm kind of slacking. But that is the Main Street Electrical Podcast. Thank you, Kyla. Thank you, Jen. And once again, Phoenicians, don't forget to thank them.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Electrical Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at the MSE Podcast, or visit our website at themsepodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe, and may all your wishes come true.